Hey guys, welcome back to the Forever World. Today, we need to address our food situation. You know how I've been feeding myself up until this point? Yeah, I've basically eradicated the local cow population, so we need to start thinking about some farms. Now, I could just make a farm at the shore and it would feed me just fine. But I also could have made a basic starter house, or a staircase mineshaft going down to bedrock, but that's not how we're doing things on this world. My plan is to turn this area right here between the starter house and the quarry into a farming space. But we got a lot of work that we gotta do here first. We have some clear cutting that we need to do, so we're gonna start out by doing that. There we go, one tree-free area. I'm not sure if it'll be enough or not, but we will find out. The next thing that I need to do is fix up all these holes in the land here and do a bit of terraforming because this isn't the greatest for crops. Actually, it's not really great for building either, it's just kind of good for nothing. So I've spent a few hours now smoothing out the land, and I think it's looking pretty good. This side I'm really happy with how it turned out. This will be really easy to turn into farmland. But on the other side over here by the house, it's a little rougher. I would have liked to have done some more terraforming over here, but we're basically out of dirt. But since we only have so much time for these episodes, we're gonna move forward with the terraforming that we do have. After all, it is Minecraft. We can make anything work. Now, what I'd like to do next is zone out some buildings here. So we're going to start up here on this hill that I made. This is where that weird water ravine thing was. And we're going to zone out, an area for a silo or granary. I haven't quite decided which is going to go here yet, but we're going to mark this area. All right, and then back here towards this forest area, we're actually going to clear out a little bit more of the forest, but I want to mark this area out here for a farmhouse. I'm thinking in this area right here, we're going to make a small barn. And then up on this hill here, we're going to clear out a little bit more of the forest. And we're going to plan out a windmill up here. Actually, after taking a step back and looking at it, I think I'm going to move the location of the barn. I think the barn would be better suited over here. And in case anyone is wondering, yeah, these are just arbitrary shapes, so if we need more or less room, we'll change things up. So this is an overview of what our area kind of looks like with all of our buildings placed. Yeah? What? Uh-huh. Crazy. Now, part of the reason that I wanted to zone all of the buildings first is because I want to start planting crops over there, because it's going to take a long time for me to grow enough seeds and whatnot to be able to populate that entire area. So I think it is about time. Time to do what for years was considered a massive waste of diamonds. But personally, I'm alright with it. But just to make it slightly less of a waste of diamonds, we're going to go ahead and enchant it. There we go. Now that I've got a diamond hoe and I'm really happy that I got fortune on it, we're going to focus on carrots, potatoes, and wheat for today. And just to get things started, I'm going to plant them all by the shore. And as we're building up the buildings around this area, I will be harvesting these. And we'll see how many we have by the end of the video that we can just plant around the island. Now that we've got all these guys planted, it's just a waiting game. So I mentioned that while we're waiting for the crops to grow, we're going to do some building, but we have to do some exploration first. I've managed to collect most of the sapling types here, but there is one notably missing, and that is the mangrove propagule. Now, I've already explored probably a good half hour in each direction of my base here on stream, and I haven't found any mangrove swamps yet. So we're going to have to go on quite a long expedition here, I think, to find that. And if we can, I'd also like to locate a desert, It's not mandatory for today, but it would be nice for the future. Now, in my travels, I've found 2 ocean biomes so far. I think my best bet is to make my way to one of those oceans and make my way across that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be exploring the same landmass that I've already explored, and I don't exactly know how far into the continent I've gone. But I do know that I stopped at the ocean, so that's a good place to start for today. Here we go, here's the ocean, and that's the mushroom biome that we saw on stream before. Let's head in that direction. This is a very small mushroom island. Oh well, we got mushrooms on it and a small safe haven, so that's kind of nice. I got out of my bed and now I'm very turned around. Okay, that's not where we came from. We're just gonna head in this direction and hope for the best. Oh, landho. Just what we needed, more forest. Oh, but it looks like we did choose the right ocean to cross. Okay, we gotta chop some of those trees down before this forest fire spreads over there, because that is definitely turning into a forest fire, yep. We made it back, and we've got propagules. Back at the farmland, I'm thinking that the first building we're gonna start with is our farmhouse over here, because I do have kind of an idea for it. And the other 3 buildings, not really, I just know that I want to build them. But before we can get started on the build, we need to gather some resources. We are doing good on most things, but we do need more cobble, deep slate, and spruce wood. So I'm gonna work on that, and I will be right back. Alright, hopefully I've collected enough for this build. Seems like a good amount of resources, but I mean, you never really know until you start. I guess let's start by trying to outline our house. Alright, so this is the foundation that I came up with. So we've got a house here and then kind of like a lean-to balcony out here. I don't know how else to describe it. I've been looking at a bunch of pictures of farmhouses online and a lot of them seem to have it. So we're gonna get building and, well, I guess you'll see what I mean. That's looking pretty cool, I think. I didn't place any torches though, so I'm a little afraid to see what's inside here. And open. Oh, yep. We have some inhabitants. Oh, that didn't sound good. Okay, we're fine. Oh, we're not fine. Okay, thankfully that creeper didn't do too much damage. Again, we can shave away this back layer of the wall here. I kind of messed up the dimensions and had to move this back a layer. Alright, there we go. Alright, we got it lit up. We'll take care of the rest later. This little piece right here is what I was talking about with the lean-to balcony. I didn't really know how else to describe it, but this right here I actually want to be my main entrance to the house. So we're gonna poke a hole right here, I think, and we'll throw down a door, and there we go. We'll do the interior off camera or on stream. For now, I want to move on to the next building. I'm thinking the next thing we'll tackle is the barn because I do actually have an idea for it now. And yeah, it's going to wind up being bigger than this rectangle. First things first though, we've got to use our propagules that we grabbed earlier. And we are not short on bones for bone meal, so we'll grab a few of those. And now for the fun part. I really like how mangrove wood looks, but I hate harvesting it. It is satisfying to place a bunch of them and bone meal them though. Well, I guess we'll tear down this monstrosity and get started with the build. Alright, it took quite some time, but hopefully we have enough mangrove now to do this build. I've also gone ahead and grabbed a whole bunch of other stuff that I think we'll need, but I don't really have too much of a plan for this. We're just gonna kind of start placing blocks and see what happens. I don't want this barn to be too big, so maybe something like this for the front profile. And then in terms of how far back, I'm thinking not too much further than what we have right here actually, which would give us a final size of about yay big. Looks good to me, let's start expanding it. There we go. That sure is a barn. Or at least on the outside it is. On the inside it's, you know, nothing. So we're going to do a little bit of work in there now. First things first, I want to put a second floor up at this level right here. This will mostly be decorative, but we'll probably have a little bit of storage up here too. I wonder if we can get an ender pearl from this guy. Get in the boat. Get in the boat. Get in. There we go. And now I smack. Hey, there we go. All right, I have looting. That's... Yep, 2 ender pearls. Well, those will come in handy later. Alright, the next thing we need is a space for all of our barnyard animals. Here we go. Doesn't need to be big because we only need to store 2 of each in here. Alright, cool. And I'm thinking right in the center here, we're going to have a ladder going up to the top floor. We'll just make a trapdoor wall to place the ladders on. And there we go. And then for now, I think we just need to fix the ground in here. We'll grab ourselves some coarse dirt here. Probably need a bit more than that. Okay, 6 gravel's not going to get us a whole lot. To the mines it is. I know I have some more over there. There we go. Now that we're back with the coarse dirt, we can lay out some path blocks here to get started. And then for now, we'll just replace everything around it with coarse dirt. We'll come back in with some rooted dirt later once we actually have some, but I've got to go collect some more. Here we go. This is looking a lot more barn-like on the inside. I do want to get some hay bales and whatnot in the back, but I don't have any hay bales right now, so we got to wait until we're actually growing wheat for that. Now, with the barn finished, we need some animals in the barn. Come on, chicken. Let's go. You're going to be the first one. You can go in here. Now I just need to find you a friend and, 2 cows, 2 pigs, and 2 sheep. How hard could that be? Well, I can tell you right now that finding any cow outside of this pen over here is going to be, well, near impossible. I've basically eradicated the cow population in this area. All right, you two come with me. If there's one thing that always tries my patience, it's leading animals anywhere in this game. Actually, saying that out loud, I might actually have some leads. I'll check on that after I get these guys over here. I'm already halfway, so may as well commit. I'm going to have to go much further for the sheep and pigs, so I would definitely like the leads if I have them. All right, you two can come in here. One at a time, guys. Come on. I swear they share 1 brain cell. All right, I give up. There we go. They're in. All right, off to find the 2 fun ones. But first things first. Nope, nope, nope. I know I've killed some wandering traders, so I don't know where the leads are. Nope, nope, nope. Maybe over here? Nope, 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 nope. Yes, here we go. This should make things considerably easier. Well, I think my odds of finding a sheep in this area are pretty low. But I do see some pigs. Come with me, friends, for a life of captivity. Doesn't it sound wonderful? And here we are, in you go. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming. And there we go. Oh, I may as well take the chicken while I found him. Much easier to get them through the gate one by one. Oh, I see one. And where there's one, there must be more. Would have been real awkward if there wasn't. Alright, I'm not even going to bother with the gate this time. And boom, and boom. There we go. 2 chickens, 2 sheep, 2 pigs, and 2 cows. Now we are going to alter the plan a little bit here. I've changed my mind on the silo. I think it's just going to obstruct the view of everything else, so we're going to axe this for now. Instead, we're going to focus a bit more on the windmill, which we're actually going to move more over in this direction here, just that we have a midpoint between the barn and the house. Also, in traditional Elfie fashion, we're going to do some terraforming. But before we do some terraforming, we need to hit the stone mine pretty hard. So let's see what we turn up. Alright, I hope that this is enough stone. And for anyone looking at that going, King, that's a lot of stone. You clearly have not seen my terraforming before. I tend to get very carried away. Alright, so our terraforming goal is we want to start along this ridge here, and we want to carry a cliff going this way, all the way to behind the house. And I want to try and get a little bit more height too. This is currently the level that our windmill was going to be on. I want it more around like the top of that tree. So like I said, we're going to follow the natural ridge here, but I want to lay out kind of a rough outline of where I want the cliff to go. And I imagine we're probably going to have to push this tree line back a little bit too. There we go. There's a rough outline for how I want the cliff to go. Obviously it'll change a little bit as we go, but you know, we'll go with the flow. The next thing that I want to do is get a little bit of a height map going on here. So let's see, how high do I want the highest point to be? I'm thinking about like that, and on top of that point is where our windmill will be. Now, working from this hill, I want to gradually work up to that point. So we'll have some lower areas on either side, and we'll keep that as the relative height behind the house as well here. And then over here, we'll fade downwards. Yeah, I think that's going to look pretty sweet once we get it all terraformed up, which is, of course, our next step here. So I'm going to get going on that, and then we will, well, we'll see how it goes. That was a painful one to build. I have never been good at building windmill turbines, so that's the best we can do. I'm happy with it, but it could still use some improvements, I think. But that is not a job for today. Right now I'm trying to find a cave or something where I can get some dirt without disturbing the landscape, because I used up every last piece of dirt on that terraform. This will do for now. That should be more than enough for what I need today. What I would like to do is try and make a path going from about here up the side of the cliff here. That way it goes up and to the entrance of our windmill. We will see how this goes. There we go, I think that works. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not completely happy with it yet, but I think I need to spend some more time with the area to figure out what it's missing. But I had to get a little bit creative with the cave entrance because I couldn't quite seem to get the angle right to get the slope all the way up the side of the cliff. Alright, I've done a little bit of cleanup, gotten rid of all of our random chests, and accumulated it all into one chest monster underneath our porch here. Let's just hope that we don't forget about it later on. But our next step is going to, well, it's going to test my shovel's durability. We've got to plot all of our paths now. We're going to start by connecting up all of our points of interest here. We're not looking for full paths at this moment. We're just looking to connect things up. There we go. Now that we've got everything connected up, we can start expanding the path and making it actually walkable. Okay, cool. The barn is now connected up with the, I guess we'll call this staircase up to the windmill and also the farmhouse over here. We're going to replace all these little bits here with coarse dirt later on, but now I want to work on just some odd paths going into random places in the farmyard. What the heck is a farmyard? I meant farmland. My brain cell is doing some overtime today. Alright, let's get an overhead view of what this looks like. Yep, that's looking pretty cool, I think. I do want to add one more road in somewhere in this area, but first we gotta head over to the barn. What I'd like to do over here is outline a little bit of a pasture. I had mentioned earlier that I had a plan for the barn, but the build itself wasn't actually the plan. It was this pasture, which is also why I was okay with having such a small barn and only having 2 animals in each of them. Basically, the idea is that I have 2 of each animal inside the barn, and when I need to breed more, I let them out to graze in the pasture. And then when I need a different animal, I use the leads to get them all back into the barn, and I start again. There we go, that's looking pretty sick. Just gotta close it off with some gates here. Perfect. And now, since I know that I want to breed cows in the area first, I'll just open that gate and let them roam. And if I find them wandering somewhere else, I know I've messed up. I think all that's left to do now is plant the crops. Like I mentioned near the beginning of the video, I've been harvesting the crops at the shore for quite a while, and I've got a lot of stuff here, but I don't think it'll be nearly enough to cover the entire area. But that's where our handy dandy skeleton farm is going to come in. I've been collecting bones for quite a while now. Well, I guess I've got a lot of crops to plant. Let's do it. You know, when I started this project, I thought, you know what, this will be a nice, fun, small little project. Nope, it quickly grew to something much, much bigger. But we have planted all of our crops and we've done the coarse dirt along the paths. The carrots are just beside the house there, you can't see them from here. And we've done some cool little details too. We got some scarecrows, we got some hay bales around, little water trough over there, and I shoved a well in this corner here. There's definitely some more detail work that can be done, but I think we'll leave that for another time. For now, I'm very happy with the progress that we've made on this video. Like I said, I intended to make a small video on making a little farm. We wound up making an entire district. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.